Good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is VlogsBoutNothin. I definitely did take 3 minutes out of my life to comb my hair, and, well, I'm wondering what I was thinking. But regardless, I hope that you guys are doing really well, and I really do appreciate you joining me here on my channel. You feel me? I know that in the past 5 months, I've shared my life publicly with more than just, about 20,200 views. I obviously sometimes don't know at all what I'm saying, and that I guess happens when you do about 45 minutes of content, every single night right here on YouTube. The only place you'll ever find me will be here on YouTube. So if you're ever looking for me, definitely just well, I guess my name is right there on up for everybody to see and do whatever it is else they do with your whole name. I mean, I'm not sure. Sometimes I wonder what I'm doing at all in life. I'm just sort of like, what's going on? Which brings me to tonight's topic. So here on Vlogs About Nothing, we talk about some really important stuff. I mean, we talk about everything from, war to peace to anthropology to absolutely nothing, and that's what my bread and butter is. So tonight we're talking about all of the foods that are sus to me. Okay, so I was doing some shopping at the store the other day, and I came to the realization that I did, about 20 years ago, being in a supermarket here in America, and it's sort of like, what is some of the food, so let's examine this, right, from a Vlogs About Nothing kind of a perspective. So for example, we'll start with yogurt, right? So I've always convinced myself that, yogurt is a thing to eat, and it's good and stuff. But then, like, recently, I'm at the yogurt aisle, and I'm sort of like, what exactly is yogurt? Like, where can I find yogurt in nature? Like, is this a thing? Because, like, is there like a plant that grows yogurt? I mean, I know that sounds really, really juvenile and elementary. Obviously, I know that yogurt doesn't come from a plant, or there's no natural source to go and get some yogurt. You feel me? But like, my idea of food is envisioning that product out in its natural environment. And oftentimes, every food product I've ever looked at, I can't really figure out where it's come from. So that bothers me a little bit, only because, like, I mean, either I'm stupid, which, like, let's not go there, or, I just don't understand some basic principles of yogurt making. I mean, is this something I need to know? Do I need to know how to make yogurt? Like, I don't understand. I'd read the back of the ingredient label, and I know that half the words in there I can't pronounce, and I know that xanthate gum doesn't sound like, I don't know, it doesn't sound like something I'd find in nature either. Like, that's kind of what also bothers me, is that when I can't discern the ingredients of a food product that I'm about to put in my body, I just, I'd like to know a little bit about what's in it and where it came from. And so also ice. And so I'm actually going to title this video something along the lines of ice, because the semantics of ice have been, like, truly appalling, honestly. And I say this because ice is water, It's what happens when water freezes, and that happens when the temperature is too low, below 32 degrees Fahrenheit here in America. I know that when water falls below that level, it freezes, and so if you don't know what freezing means, it means that it turns into a solid state. You feel me? So, like, there's liquid, there's gas, there's solid states. I failed chemistry in high school, so I'm probably not the best guy to tell you all about the different kinds of molecular structures of water. I do know that water is definitely food, right? And there's been always these arguments as it concerns semantics, and I say this in particular because it affects, obviously, who it always affects most, and that's the most marginalized and often low-income populations, in that if you can't buy ice with EBT, like, there's a problem in the world, because water is in fact food, it is. you can't live without it. We kind of are made mostly of it. We live on a planet that is mostly made of water. So water's kind of a big deal, and I just feel like when people that need access to, like water, whether it's frozen or not, we should have access to that water. Not to mention that, all of the major bottling manufacturing companies all over the world make out with quite a pretty penny from, putting plastic water bottles underneath tap faucets and letting it rip, I mean, I just have never, thought of being so duplicitous just because, who thinks about being so duplicitous in nature unless, I guess you're an evil Lex Luthor kind of, CEO figure of one of the big companies in the world. But nonetheless, water, and its frozen state should definitely be considered food. And so the guy on VlogsBoutNothin says that, your local government needs to recognize that water in any form is food, And so that kind of, what else, cereal. That's the other sus product to me, right? Is I've probably eaten, just like every other 36-year-old American, lots of cereal throughout my life. I always kind of thought it was a solid thing to fall back on. Have a bowl of cornflakes, have a bowl of Cheerios. The problem with that is that I have no idea what it is. I mean, do you? Does any of us? I know I'm more than welcome to search here right on YouTube, Modern Marvels, how cereal's made. And then I'll be privy to some extra long documentary with some guy hosting from TLC telling me all about the intricate workings of pressing fake food together, putting it in a box, slapping a label on it, and then selling it to me in the guise that it is, in fact, edible food. When I guess if that were the standard, lots of things are edible. I mean, but I don't know if they're entirely safe to eat. Just because it's edible doesn't really mean that it is able to be consumed. I mean, in its very technical sense, right? As far as edible goes, and that if you can get it down your throat, it's edible, and if you can't, it's not, regardless of what it is. But still, cereal trips me out. You feel me? Just like yogurt and just like the arguments with water and ice, it's sort of what are we doing here? Not to mention that I have been battling my chip addiction, which is what it is, honestly, for about 20 years. And I've always felt have you ever been guilt shamed? Have you ever ate a bag of Doritos, also while crying? Kind of like that. It's sort of what am I doing with my life? I can't eat just one, and I know it, and it says it on the back of the bag, and now here I am eating an entire bag of Flamin' Hot Ranch Doritos, which I know is not going to do me any kind of justice later on. So, I don't know. I mean, why do we do the things that we do? Why do people buy cereal? Why do we eat yogurt? I'm not sure. Why do we eat Doritos? I mean, probably because our brains are wired to like good stuff, and even if our brains are tricked, it really doesn't matter. Point in fact, the largest rates of obesity, diabetes, and other large, long-lasting health implications that currently plague this country and all of the other industrialized nations that have been introduced to their liking, I guess, of the Western ultra-processed, highly sus diet. How many Indians, for example, living in India, with the huge influx of Western influence on their diet, wonder to themselves on the daily, where exactly is this chicken coming from? I know KFC is the most popular spot right now in India, and it's sort of I was asking the same question in the mid-90s when my grandparents were getting us buckets of chicken. You feel me? It's sort of in school, I learn about all of these chickens and these farms, and I learned the alphabet with those little sound wheels that play different farm animal noises. And then it always was a conflict of interest to me in understanding as a city boy that well, I learn about these animals and they make really cool noises, and we go visit them on the annual, at our local dairy farm and stuff. I don't really understand the connection of you unaliving these particular subjects so that I can eat them in chicken nugget form over at McDonald's. You know, like, and then I think to myself, like, do you know how many chickens we'd have to, like, be unaliving on the daily? And then I see other I just, the United States food supply is just suspect. There's no other way around it. Unless you make, $250,000 a year and you're buying your groceries from Whole Foods, at which point, your receipts will indicate that, the cost of fresh food is way higher than what's available to the rest of us, meaning that, like, we can't ever, afford that. I mean, you can just imagine that one shopping trip from a high income earner is, like, just way more than what is allotted to most poor people and working families by the federal government for a whole month. I think about these things, right? And then ultimately, I just think that, if you don't know, or if you can't figure out where your food came from or what it was made from, you should probably not eat it, But again, that's just me. I've eaten so many foreign foods in my life that, well, I mean, I'm still here, so far as I know. This isn't any sort of, like, Dimension 404, Sixth Sense kind of thing, is it? We're good here, universe. Anyways, I hope that you guys are doing really well. Thank you very much for watching my channel. Every single night I try to bring you the best kind of improvisational entertainment that I can, muster at that particular time. And I feel like every single night we get a little bit better. I feel like every single night, the shows are a little bit more bearable, I guess, if that's a thing. But then I also think to myself that we have more than 600 videos, and every single night, a handful of people inevitably discover an old video, or they watch older videos here on the platform. And so I think that's really cool. Honestly, I feel like now we could probably loop the channel for a few days with content, which is, again, the point of my job. My job is to entertain you. Thereby, I have to provide content, and I have to think of it, and I have to think of it pretty quickly because I've never written a script in my entire life. And so, there's always that. So I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thank you for watching my channel, and until tomorrow, let's hope that my hair can stay, like, halfway combed. I mean, it's tripping me out here a little bit too, but honestly, I'm just, like, trying to keep my hair, and if that means not ever washing it again because all of the shampoo is filled with this crazy stuff that, like, did you guys know, I'm just saying, and I know it's the end of the video, but I'm gonna do a video on this tomorrow about being bald, that, like, half the reason that this country is bald, I'd argue 80% of the reason this country is bald is because of the chemicals that are found in all of our household products. Like, anything that concerns, being put on your body, like, that's straight up, like, where they're getting us. I'm not sure. Like, I'm happy that I never used Pantene, because apparently Pantene has, like, these chemicals that have been banned in most other countries all over the world, except for here in good old America. God bless Uncle Sam. I hope that you guys and all of our future bald men, seriously, let's rock on to that, right? Pro Pantene. Like, seriously, if the CEO of Pantene was running for president, we should just vote for that person, right? Because they're clearly so vested in our interests of making us the most shiny-headed bald people that the world could possibly imagine. And I say this like, I'm like, no hair products ever going in my hair then again. It's not happening. I'll wash my hair with soap. I will seriously, like, you guys ever heard of mud baths? Like, I'm not doing this. I hope that you guys have a really good day, and thanks again for joining me. Bye.